Welcome to part two. We're just waiting for Terry to join us. I think I put the wrong picture up here. Look at the size of me there, man. Fat as a pig, Michelin man. I look like Dylan White there, but it is what it is. Well, Zhang against Wilder, they're saying here on boxing scene. What do you think to that for a fight? Eh? Unreal. Unreal. But I think Wilder's finished personally, and Zhang. I think they're both shot to bits. But it's a good fight, though, isn't it? For them both, really, to get it mixed. But what's the combined age of Wilder and Zhang? It's must be knocking on a bit. Do you know what I mean? Where Terry is here. Oh, here we are. I'm just saying to followers, Terry, Zhang and Wilder, it is done. It's done here. It's on boxing scene. Terry.
Mate, that June the first card's that's looking healthy.
Yeah.
You can't do a 5v5 then. If
No.
if you've got Beterbiev Bivol and then you've got Wilder's Zhang and they're talking about Dubois Hergovich, you can't do a 5v5. Or you can't do a good one anyway. It's just gonna be loads of filler. So
Dubois.
when's the 5v5 happening?
Well, I don't know. This 5v5, they're dragging their asses on it. But what I want to know is why are they letting Willy Wonka pick one of the fights? They've never let anything like that happen, have they?
Well, he's paying for it, Russ. That's
Oh,
why.
yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I do suppose. Yeah, there is that. He's paying for it. But what do you think about Zhang Wilder, Dubois Ergovic could be added to Biville Beterbiev Bill? It's good, that, isn't it?
That's a good card.
Solid.
Like we moan a lot, right? We moan a lot that we don't get value for money as fans. If they tell us that's pay per view, I don't hear anyone complain about that. That's a pay per view card. You got Undisputed, you've got that Crossroads fight for Wilder and Zhang, and then you've got the who's next in line, who's the next heavyweight king, Dubois versus Hergovich.
Yeah, and there's also Dubois Ergovic. That's a good fight, that, isn't it?
That's top. That's top tier.
Beterbiev and Biville's top tier. Wilder's hanging because they're not at top and they're both 80-year-old combined age, 80 in a couple of months. But the point I want to make is Wilder could quite easily come back and put Zhang on, put on Button Moon and vice versa, couldn't it? It's a pick 'em.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they've had a bit of luck with timing of some of these fights, because some of them we can now say are pick'ems, but a bit ago they wouldn't have been a pick'em, would they?
Look, I think what the last year has shown us is there isn't that much difference between all of these heavyweights. The guys that were saying Fury's light years ahead of Joshua, nah, I'm not so sure anymore. People that will say Usyk's light years ahead of Fury, I'm not so sure anymore. I mean, like, no, there's no one that's an outstanding heavyweight at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Izzy Ahmed, from Sheffield, is obviously GMP.
Legend.
He's putting shows on. Obviously, his partner Ash is next door to me. Point I want to make is uh, the word doing the rounds this morning and yesterday night is that Boxer are finished with Sky. Ben Shallam's not, his deal's not going to be renewed. They're not saying who's having all the slots. They're saying they might be shared out, but I've been told he's in mix. Mick Ennis is in mix. And another couple of other promoters are in mix. Now, if that's all true, it means the Sky dates are going to be shared out. They should have been shared out a few years ago, shouldn't they?
Oh, mate. So I knew something was happening. Um, whew,
What,
I
because of
knew
the
something was.
because of the big ups that IFL have been giving Izzy lately?
No, this goes way back before that. So I've been on here, Russ, and I've told you. Excuse me. There's been a civil war at Sky for a little while. So what you've got one camp, which is the boxer camp, and you've got the Sky boxing camp, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are playing one off against the other. So And the thing is, like, I don't mind Ben Shalom. I think Ben Shalom's a good kid. Probably needs to sharpen up in terms of politics and being a bit more astute. But I think Ben's a top kid. And he's been undermined by people. And you can see why. Because when someone goes from being the head of boxing at Sky to resigning from Sky and ending up at GBM, he knows something is afoot, right? So when I saw that Adam Smith wasn't coming back, I knew something was up. And then there's been some matchmaking that's been clearly done where you're like, I don't know why that's happened. And you're like, what's going on at Sky? What's going on at Boxer? Because it doesn't seem that anything makes sense. And then you hear that certain people can get fights made at the drop of a hat and no one argues with them because they're respected. And you're like, okay. So there's all of this mess that's happening behind the scenes. And then when I saw the announcement of Adam Smith signing with GBM and I saw who was in the photographs, yeah, when they went to the charity thing, I saw who was in the photographs and I said, this is the move. Now, I don't know if GBM could carry the load on their own. I don't believe they could. I think you're looking at a coalition of GBM, probably Carl Greaves would be in that mix. Mick Hennessy would be in that mix, probably at the sort of the upper level in terms of, can you secure top tier talent? Mick Hennessy can, and he can do those sorts of deals. I still think Boxer will have some shows. I don't see them getting rid of Ben Shalom either because he'll have a stable too.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying to my mate. I said, well, why would they get rid of Ben when his stable's probably as good as others? And he said, well, he might be just getting a couple of dates. But there's a lot of rumours going around at the moment. But they're saying that Izzy's definitely got Sky dates coming. So that's good, isn't it?
For who, though?
I don't know.
Who is these top 4 fighters?
Well, I don't know. You tell me.
Well, Ash is next door. Ring him up.
Ring him up. I'll get him on channel, shall I?
Yeah, get me an Ash on there.
They're working with a lot. Well, who's Carl Greaves' top fighters? Oh,
he's got kids like Brad Goldsmith.
Steffi's got a couple of good fighters, eh?
Eh?
Eh? Well, Steffi's got Terry Harper, hasn't he, and James Joe Flynn, hasn't he? Who's Carl Greaves got? He's got a couple, hasn't he?
Okay, so Terry Harper, we've established doesn't shift tickets. The other guy that Steffi's got, who cares? Do you know what I mean? Like, they might funnel some drug money into him, but who cares? Carl Greaves has got Brad Goldsmith.
I thought Terry Harper's nickname was Terry Ticket Seller on it at one point on Twitter. Terry Ticket Seller. Then he changed it to Terry Belter. What? Are you telling me she a ticket? Are you telling me Steffi's been getting tickets from Matchroom and handing money over, making out he's been selling tickets and really he's not been selling them? You won't think that he'd do that, would you?
You're telling me that Steffi Ball was writing Terry Harper's bio in all of her tweets, eh?
Hey! Hey! Ow! Fucking bit me, you little... Come here. Naughty. What about when Terry Harper were on the Sky and Steffi sat there and he made out? He puts her tweets. Why would you admit that? On a Sky interview, sat next to Joe G and go, oh, yeah, I put all her tweets out. What? How stupid is that?
But now, look, in terms of stables, Carl Greaves has got, well, he's got that, I call it the M1 corridor, right? So he's got Brad. Brad trains with Dom. He had Stannard. Stannard, they can rebuild him, but it's looking rough. Who else has he got? He's got those kids from Leicester. He's got access to guys like Carl Hayward, Ryan Amos. But there aren't that many the solid prospects. And then you need someone that's going to represent the Northwest. So who's gonna do that? Is that Steve Wood? Who's going to sign the kids in the Northwest?
Yeah. Well,
so I don't know what Sky are going to do, right? What I would do if it was me, I'd renew with Ben Shalom for another 2 years, and I'd just change the deal, and I'd give Ben 60% of the dates, and then I'd spread out the other 40 as an audition to see, like, can you deliver me something that's better than what Ben Shalom's doing?
Well, I mean, to say Ben Shalom's supposed to have all these stars, who are they really fighting? I mean, and are these stars really? Is Lawrence Okoli a star? Is Billum Smith a star? Is Boatsi a star?
In boxing, yes. In the wider sporting discussion, no.
Do you feel that if Eddie really, really would have wanted them, he could have kept them at DAZN and Matchroom?
No, because he wasn't prepared to offer the money that was being offered.
And that's why they did one then, isn't it, really? And if Eddie would have wanted them, he'd have put more offer in, money, bigger money, wouldn't he, if he'd have thought they were worth
But
it?
but let's also let's throw a spanner in the works here, Russ.
Yeah.
How old's Warrington? 34, 35?
Yeah.
So he'll be done next year. Maxi Hughes, after what happened with Cepeda, I think Maxi Hughes is probably done. Kid from Nottingham, Froch's mate, Lee Wood,
Yeah.
he's 34, 35, so he'll be done next year. And I'm not saying this to disrespect them, I'm saying age-wise, this is the last year to squeeze the juice out the lemon. Joshua's going to be 35, 36 next year. So what's he going to have left? So as you go down Eddie Hearn's list, next year his cupboard's going to be bare as well. So what shows is he going to be able to put on?
Well, Eddie's already talking Dalton Smith up to be fighting in a world title at Hillsborough. I can't see that. And plus, does Eddie think we're stupid? Does he think that Dennis and people like that haven't had meetings with Hillsborough? They're not bothered about out like that. Do you know what I mean? So why would he be spinning stuff like that to Dalton Smith when really it's pony? There's only Bramall Lane that are interested in football, boxing matches, not Hillsborough. I don't know why Eddie had spin that. He seems to spin everything as, yeah, well, like Callum Smith. Yeah, Anfield, Callum Smith against Canelo. Do you remember all them big sit downs where they were going to get Callum Smith and Beefy on at Anfield? What happened to them?
Do you remember when they said Katie Taylor could do Croke Park, and we're here
What
five,
happened to
6 years
that,
later?
Croke Park? Exactly. Or Ebony Bridges were going to do Ellen Road, weren't she? Do me a favour.
On her own.
No. Obviously with Josh Warrington holding her hand and that. But point I want to make is we've heard it all before. We heard that one about Anthony Yard against Boatsi back in the day. We're going to be at a football ground when Boatsi were at Sky and we matched them, but that never materialised, did it? It's just lip service. Somebody's told Dalton Smith you'll be getting a world title at Hillsborough. Dalton, Hillsborough are never going to put boxing on, so don't listen to it. It's pure. I'm not saying it's lies. I think it's just Eddie going into Eddie mode. Just a normal routine. Yeah, we'll pick a football team.
No, I do think he'll give Dalton Smith a title shot. I
But
think
not at
if
Hillsborough.
not at Hillsborough. If Haney can retain his belt, then Hearn will just go, right, Devin Haney versus Dalton Smith, voluntary defense, why not? And he'll just convince the zone to pay Haney a stupid amount of money. Then he'll say, look, I delivered a world title shot for Dalton Smith, probably before he was ready. But Dalton Smith's younger than Haney, so you can't be like, well, why not let him go at it?
Yeah. Well, but like somebody's just sent me something here about Adam Smith.
What have they said?
There's a Porky. What about Adam Smith slipping in there with your man, Izzy, at GMB Sport? You know them Sky dates. You know them Sky dates are going to be coming to Izzy.
But did I just say that? Did I just say Adam Smith wouldn't be going anywhere if he didn't know something and if he didn't have leverage?
Yeah, Adam Smith won't be hooking him set up today. So basically, Smith could be going back to Sky in some capacity, could he?
That'll be the team, mate. That was going to be the team that goes over because Adam's got good relationships. It's like so I know this because I've got mates that work at Sky. People are gutted that he left. Like, he was good for Sky, he was good for boxing, and let's be honest, we miss him on Sky.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah, we miss him going, welcome to the Blue Ribbon Division. The torch paper has been lit. And then at the end, we always miss that. There's the respect.
But you know what? It's weird, isn't it? But there are things that give you comfort. They let you know that it's a big event. Like, it's like when you go, hey? That's when we know it's serious. No. When we know, that's when we know Russell's got the bit between his teeth.
I know, yeah. When I'm in full pork mode.
Yeah. That's when we know, like, right.
Like trying to break John Fury's 10-kilometer record yesterday, and I was 22 minutes slower than him. The guy's
Wait right
7-0,
there,
isn't it?
John. Wait right there, John.
Do
Don't
you know
go
when I
anywhere,
do you
John.
know when
I've
I
got
got
some
to
serious
45
questions
minutes,
for you.
Terry? You know when
Huh?
I won 45 minutes yesterday? I was like, God, John Fury's finished by now, and I've still got 3.5 kilometers to go.
Yeah, John.
I'm blowing out my
John.
ass.
John was going to do the 10,000 meters for Great Britain in the Olympics
Was
at
it?
18 stone. Yeah,
Who ended up getting the spotting end? Joe
probably.
Egan.
I think it was Mo Farah.
Was it between Mo Farah and Joe Egan?
Well,
Hey?
I think Joe Egan is Mo Farah.
Joe Egan's in Guinness Book of Records, for most YouTube interviews about himself and a sparring partner in space of 6 weeks. He's done like 4,800,000 videos in space of 6 weeks telling us about when he sparred Mike.
He must be so gutted that when he sits down with Jake Paul, he'll talk about he sparred Mike Tyson, and Jake Paul will say, "But I fought Mike Tyson," and
Yeah.
Joe Egan will never be able to say that.
Joe there running around saying, I sparred Mike Tyson. I sparred Lennox Lewis. I got battered. I got battered. That's it. It's a great advertisement for sport, isn't it? If you're 12 and you want to take boxing up, isn't it? I sparred my door. Yeah, he sparred Joe. Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis and got battered, but Lennox and Mike don't even remember it, but they just go along with it because he said, "Yeah, you battered me," and they're like, "Yeah, that sounds good," but they don't remember it, and there's no footage. There's no footage, is there? Where's footage? If I had
Yeah,
a spark, listen, let's say for instance, right, years ago, I think I put that picture. I'm gonna get Cameron to put that picture up in that video I've just done, that fitness video. When I went to see Froch years ago, I was 28 stone 8. It was my 41st birthday. We were sat in Ellaby. He was come from at Ellaby Hall, training camp for Ward for the first one. So I've gone up, 41st birthday. Thought I look cool. So I've gone up, we got talking. And I forgot we trained for. What were we on about then? What were we
oh,
on
you went to
about
go
then?
visit Frog.
Oh yeah, basically, I went up to see Froch, didn't I, when I was 28 stone 8. And he spurred me on to lose it. Do you know what I mean? He spurred me on, but I could have never seen my son doing a 67-minute 10-kilometer run, Terry.
Man, that's decent time, man. Like,
Was it
yeah,
like
I
when
did.
John Fury's doing 45 minutes?
I did one in 56, Russ, and I hated it.
Have you
I
done one in
absolutely
56? Is that bollocks or straight up?
no. That's true.
When you get to about 8 kilometers, you feel like you're going to spill up. What do you do then?
So I don't feel like I'm going to spew. Right. What really messes me up, Russ, is because I'm quite heavy. Right.
Yeah.
I'm heavy, but I can run quick, and so there's just a lot of force that goes through the hips, and so my lower back starts to hurt with like a mile to go, and I'm like, oh my god, this is horrible. Why do I do this? And it's not. That's why I don't run so much anymore. Like I try and keep, to be honest, I try and keep it to about 5K max, and then I just stop there.
Yeah. Well,
But when
what
I was a kid, Russ, I used to do cross country.
did you?
Yeah, and remember, like when you grow up in Zimbabwe, you're at 5,000 feet above sea level daily.
I remember doing cross country when I were at Edlow Comp, and it's very similar to run that I do now. Very similar, and I remember some kids from other schools like leading pack at cross country, and I'd be saying to my mate, "Who's that dude there?" And he goes, "I don't know, but he's fast." And I swear to God, he nearly lapped us. They were like, and it turned out this kid were like some cross country boffin, and he was only a thin kid from Wormsworth, but they were really, really quick. And we were like, wow, we need to up our game. We need to find a shortcut for Edlow Wood to get to the finishing line. Otherwise, I'm gonna get
I
hammered
mean, I did
again.
that. I did that once for us at school. We had to do this cross country, and me and my mate were like, "Oh, we're just gonna cut across here." And someone grasped on us, and they made us do the same run again, right? And they're like, if you don't do this, because like we were only like primary school kids, so it's only like I think it's only 3K, right? I said, all right, cool. So you run 3K, and like if you don't do this 3K in under 16 minutes, you got to do it again. And you're like, what? And so, mate, it was horrible. Like, yeah. So that's kind of why I can run, but I don't like running.
Yeah, I don't like running. It's crap, but every now and then I just have to. I'll just stop me. I always just stop after every single kilometre for like just to get me thoughts together. You know, for the next couple hundred yards, then I go again. You know what I mean? That's how I have
Yeah.
to get through it because I can't just run 10 kilometres and not stop. You know what I mean? I've tried it from 5 kilometres onwards to about 8, and I was spewing my ring up, mate, nearly. And my legs felt like they were going to burn off. Do you know what I mean? They get right heavy. It's lactic acid, isn't it? That's what it says on Google. Because I thought, what's that build up in my legs here? You know, in my lungs. What's going on?
Yeah.
I asked my mum, I goes, what do you think that'll be? She said, it'll be all laziness that's got out of your all years, all stuff you've took, Russell.
But that's why boxers take stuff like salbutamol. That's what Billy Joe got caught with.
Is it?
Opens up your airways. So when you do feel that tight chest feeling, it delays the onset of that.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, mate, it's hard work getting fit in your 50s, Terry. I'm telling you now, mate. It's really, really, really hard work.
Is why
Froch will
I'm
have
trying
it
not to stop.
yeah, Froch will have it to come. You know, he's 47 in July. You know, it's all very well him going in his gym now and throwing loads of big weights around, but there comes a point where your body can't do it, innit? You know, when you get to a certain age.
Oh, mate, yeah,
Do you
like,
think?
mate. Do you know, like, I'm in the gym now, and I'm looking at kids pulling weights that I used to do for fun,
Yeah,
and I'm like, I can't. Like I could squat 210 when I was young. In my
yeah.
20s, I could squat 210 for sets and reps. I could do 210, right? When I was obsessed with rugby and being a powerlifter and all that sort of bollocks. I I get to 160 now, mate, and it's scary. And I'm like, why am I doing this? But
Yeah,
when I
I'm
was
like
young,
that.
like, mate, 160, we were doing like 5 sets of 10 on 160 back in the day. Like, you just not what you used to be, and you just have to accept that.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is, this version of me fighting that version of me, this version of me would win.
No, I wouldn't. The 18-year-old of me would knock me now. I'd knock me son out. Well, put it this way, right? Other day, right, I thought I'm going to do 100 meters, right? And I thought I'll see how quick I can do it. And I remember my times from years ago, like three
You
and a
ran,
half
what was it?
second. Eh?
You ran 997, didn't you?
I thought
That's cool.
12:68. So I'm running like 15.7 for 100 meters. I'm thinking, well, I'm same weight, but you're not got the same drive, have you? And I go in
You
the
haven't got
gym
the
and I
same fast twitch fibers. You haven't got the same strength.
I don't know if I
If
ever had
you,
any of them anyway.
no, I bet any money, Russ. If you committed to squatting 100 kilos, right?
Can't even squat that. 50 kilo, Terry, 10 reps, and I'm blowing out my arse on squat.
Yeah, but you got to start somewhere.
Hey, listen, I've started on bar, mate. It's took me months just to get up to 50 kilo. I'm just shit at squatting. Unless it's
Why?
squatting soap bar and I'm going on a fat visit.
Mate, you might have to get on the steroids. I'm not even going to joke about. You might have to.
I have to do something, mate. I just think that as you get older, I tend to like I enjoy working out now, Terry, with lighter weight, as light as I can get it, and just repping out. I think you still get that burn and you just get something out the workout instead of hanging your sen. You know what I mean? A couple of reps thinking, God, I used to do more than that when I was younger.
But I don't even, like, mate, I don't ego lift anymore. And the reason I don't is
Is that what you call it? Ego lifting?
a lot of that stuff in the gym is just ego lifting. Like even me, sometimes, sometimes when you're feeling yourself, and I might deadlift 220 or something, just to let the young boys know that, hey, you know, I'm not finished yet. But generally, man, I just train to make sure that if it comes on top, I can look after myself. That's all. Just so I do just enough that if someone grabs my forearm, they'll be like, oh, okay, he ain't ready to go yet.
Mm. Okay, Dylan White. He's back. Is he the can man or is he just back for money?
I thought the Eddie Hearn interview was interesting.
I would. He didn't
When
really go out to bat for him, did he? Or say he's working with him, did he?
mate, he kind of stuck it into him.
He more or less said Dylan's back and he's doing his own thing. That was it, wasn't it? Really? He
Yeah,
didn't, you know. So Bridges are gone there. So that means the only game in town for Dylan now is Bricktop. But he's said that much about Bricktop over years, and he didn't even help promote the Tyson Fury fight. He's now in a tight spot, Dylan, isn't he? That's why you shouldn't burn your bridges.
it is his only option is that Joshua says I want to fight Dillian. That's his only option right now.
Yeah. And he'll have
because
to take less money now.
well, let's go back to the whole Fury White thing. Wasn't it Ben Shalom that was speaking for Dillian?
Yeah, well, wasn't it? I wonder what's gone on there. Could Ben
Yeah.
Shalom be about to pull off a coup in his tiny little Adrian Mole brain that Dylan White can save his neck? He'll probably put noose around him and feel again.
Because, and I think that's why Eddie Hearn was annoyed, right? Because I think, what did Hearn say? He said Dillian didn't want to cut us in on the deal. That's what he said. He said he didn't want to give us our percentage.
He's talking like he's half a daily, isn't he, Eddie? Fucking cut us in on the deal. Who's he think he is, Trump? The art of the deal. He's Trump, isn't he, Eddie? Isn't he? Well, what's Ben Shalom? If he thinks Dylan White's going to save his neck, he's had it. I mean, 1 minute it's Billy Joe Saunders, next it's Buatsi and Okolie and Smith. Now it's Dylan White. They're the unwanteds. They're the unbeatables. Nobody wants them, Ben. Get over yourself. It's a dumping ground, Sky, now.
I'll keep asking the question, man. What's happening with Jack Massey?
Yeah, what they're doing with Jack Massey. He had a world title belt last year. Then all of a sudden they talked him into getting rid of it at cruiserweight, being heavyweight, takes park at distance and gets parked up.
Eh?
Hey? Hey? I don't think you wanted to do that. Oh.
Mate, boxing doesn't make any sense at the moment, apart from the only thing that makes sense to me is we've got two hemispheres in boxing today, right? In the Eastern Hemisphere, Saudi Arabia, is big guys, right? That's where the big guys are making money. America, the Western Hemisphere, is where all the little guys are making money, right? Because if you look at America, what fights are you looking forward to in America, Russ? It's all the smaller guys, middleweight and down. And then for the Saudis, it's all light heavyweight and up. We're looking forward to. And that's where we're at in boxing. And it's almost like Sky haven't figured out this is where it's at. Right? The UK is kind of on ice for now. So for Sky, it's like, how do you get into that Saudi? How do you get into that Saudi league? And why can't they get their people on there?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, isn't it, moving sideways. Do you think that Fury's actually got a chance against Usyk, or do you think he's just a case of he's going to have his 2 fights with Usyk and cash him in, and then have that Ngannou and cash that in, and then his Joshua fights? Do you think he's got his next 5 fights lined up, Fury? Because they're all saying that it's signed, aren't they? 3 of them.
So I would say, number one, Fury won't have a choice in who he gets to fight. He won't. Like I said, they're going to squeeze every last juice out of him, every last drop of juice out of him. They're going to squeeze. So he'll fight Usyk. I think he does a number on Usyk. And I don't think there's a rematch. I think it'll be that convincing, no one will want to see the rematch. After that, I don't think he fights Ngannou. I think after what Joshua did to him, it doesn't make any sense. I think an angry Fury with a point to prove will starch Ngannou as well. So I think really Fury fights Usyk, fights Joshua and says, I'm done with this.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, isn't it?
As someone once said, exciting times ahead.
Exciting times ahead, Johnny. This is why we love this sport so much, Matt. Should Matthew Macklin get his hair cut while we're on the subject?
Nah, let him have his midlife crisis, mate. Let him have his midlife crisis.
Yeah. How many women do you think Horsecock Nelson's go at the moment? People are saying 9. I've heard 11. What do you think, Terry?
Who told you 11?
Somebody in Tinsley yesterday.
Nah,
About Johnny Nelson to me. I said, does Johnny get any birds? He got any birds? He's got one for every day at week and back up.
nah, look, I think sometimes people talk because here's my thing. It's diminishing returns, right? Like if you've got one woman, you go from one woman to two. That's okay because if one annoys you, you go to the other one. Once you start getting to 5 or 6, man, it's just an overhead that you don't need, mate. Do you know what I mean? Just having to just nah. Once you start talking 10, 11, you're not really with any of them, are you? Like you're just not because there's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose it's yeah, interesting. We'll finish off on Conor Benn's ban or lack of appeal or whatever. What do you think's going on there? Because we're April next week, aren't we? Right. So, and it's 2 years since he fought in April in UK. Is it pointing towards a 2 year ban?
I think Conor Ben will fight in a British ring in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Against Eubank.
No, no. They'll find someone like a Harry Scarf or that kind of guy. And I say jump in with Conor Ben.
Do you think Kell
And
Brook will get a fight with him?
nah, nah, I don't think people want to see that.
No.
I think Conor has to fight someone that we look at and go, oh, he's still alive and kicking. And that's how you got to rebuild him. And then after that, anything happens. But I think with Conor Ben, the experiments failed. I think you have to start looking at that going, it ain't going to work now because no one's going to be more tested than him for the next couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Conor Ben will be tested rigorously now, won't he? Rigorously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conte's offered it, hasn't he? He said, listen, I'll pay out my own pocket for Conor Ben to do 365 testing.
Yeah. Who was saying that?
Victor Conte.
What does that mean? That he thinks he'll still fail again?
No, he's just saying, listen, if you guys are so adamant, well, he offered it to Eddie Hearn first, right? He said, Eddie, yeah, why don't you jump on the VADA 24/7, 365 testing, right? We test you anytime, any place all year. Hearns ducked that invitation. And then he said, I'll give it to Conor. Why doesn't Conor do it? Because all of these guys are taking stuff. I don't know what Hearn's taking, but he's taking stuff, I'd imagine. Conor Ben, well, he already failed the tests. So we know that he has taken stuff, allegedly.
Yeah, Eddie's looking well though, isn't he? But then again, I've not took anything, and I'd like to think that I'm in decent shape for my age and my body weight.
Have you noticed Hearn's never taken his top off in any of the photographs?
No, why is that?
So you say he's in good shape. I'm like, is he in good shape? Or is he just one of those guys whose arms get skinny really quickly? And actually, the
You're just one of them
midsections are
guys
less.
that just took the weight off. That's all it is, just the weight loss. And that got
Yeah,
no.
there's no actual like musculature underneath.
Yeah. Well, I've got a 6 pack, and it's took me years to get it, and it's been hard graft. Let me tell you.
Hard,
And the only
hard
way to get
graft.
it, Terry, is it's really dieting it. Do you know? I noticed like I just had vegetables and fruit for 3 days training on it. And do you know what? It's so hard. I remember Mickey Theo saying to me when he used to do competitions, he'd just have like a pan of broccoli or something. So I tried it and tried training on it, and you soon see a difference, don't you? In how you look and how you feel and that. It just takes you down to bone, doesn't it?
Yeah, no. When you cut out those processed carbs and all that sort of rubbish that they like to fill your trolley with, hey, like you look different, you feel different. You don't wake up bloated in the morning. You wake up with a flat
No.
stomach in the morning.
Yeah, it's like whereas normally I've shoved that much rubbish down my neck and up my nose. on a night time. When I get up next day, I don't even know what day it is. Nah, I feel all right like when I get up. You know what I mean? Feel like I'm
It's a
ready to
better feeling.
start the day. Yeah, I get up. I don't mind with. I feel like I have to go for a run to get out of my system. It took a long time to change mindset.
Yeah.
A long, long time. It's right. So I right eye opener. But would Eddie take something to look good? Of course he would. He's cheated all his life. I mean, he was trying to cheat boxing fans on Conor Ben's dope test and twice with Dylan White. So if he can hide that from us, he'd certainly cheat to look good himself, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, all right. Well, listen, I better get off. I better go see my mate, the dripping tap, and then I'm off
You
to
gonna let
go.
this one go today though?
Do you want this out today or tomorrow?
Well, we've talked about the show, so we've got to let it out today, right?
All
Because
right, then, yeah,
there's
yeah.
no point in giving predictions about a show and then releasing it after the fights.
All right, then I'll get this out in next hour. All
All
right,
right,
both
mate.
of them. All right, lads.
All right. Have a
You
good
take
weekend.
care. Have a great
All
weekend,
right,
Terry.
pal. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Right, I'll get these out now. I could have done with putting these out tomorrow, Terry. I'll keep my mouth shut next time, but hey ho, we'll get these out now. And before I get off, that A1. Okie dokie. Thanks for liking and subscribing, leaving a comment. Terry Harper on points tonight. Dalton Smith by knockout. And James Joe Flint to win but get robbed on points against Campbell Hands of Foam Hatton. And Troy Williamson to win as well. Okie dokie. Have a great weekend. Peace out.